Hey YouTube, it's Shyreeta21 back again with a quick video on how I do my braid takedown and prep for my next style. So taking down these braids, I'm just looking for the section on the end that's going to be the safest spot to cut without cutting my actual hair. I just picked the spot where the hair starts to taper off. And I like to use my fingers to detangle. I typically don't use tools unless it's smaller braids because sometimes as you're braiding, you might borrow hair and you don't want to rip through your strands and possibly break your hair off. So I just unravel the hair using my fingers. And when I get to the cornrow section, you can see that I'm kind of pulling my hair from underneath in order to separate it from the braiding hair. After I remove the braiding hair, I take some time to finger detangle. So what I'm doing is gently pulling through any sections that I feel are clumped together. And usually it's clumping from the gel that I used when I was braiding my hair, but also there might be some buildup, some lint, dirt, things like that inside of it. So I just want to gently pull my hair loose from the clump and then kind of smooth down to release any shed hairs and any type of buildup. Now to separate, I just kind of part the hair off and split it. And I just keep splitting my hair into smaller sections, and that's how I go about finger detangling. I'm giving some special attention to this nape area. I did find that I had some buildup there. Now that's not unusual because this is the edge line where my hair may be rubbing up against my clothing, picking up fibers from the clothing, or also dust and pollen from the air. So when that mixes into the gel, of course, you're going to see a little bit more buildup there. But it's really important with this edge line. Of course, these are finer textured hairs, so they need a little bit more gentle care with removing the buildup, especially if it's a lot of buildup on it. You don't want to snag and just rip your hair out. So I'm taking extra care just to release that buildup very gently. And you can see that I'm smoothing down the ends of the hair and through the entire section, and that's going to help me release any shed hairs. Next, I'm going to grab my spray bottle, and I have a drop of this VO5 conditioner left. I'm just squeezing that into my spray bottle. I added some hot tap water to the bottle. No need to fill the bottle up. I just shake that up with a little bit of conditioner that I have in it. Before I start spraying, I grab my heavy comb and I'm just going to use that to further detangle my sections. And I'm doing this after I have finger detangled, so it's a little bit easier, but I still want to be gentle as I'm detangling. My hair is dry and there is still shed hairs in there from my braids, so I want to be careful. And after I comb through each section individually, these were 3 braids in this section, by the way. Now I'm just combing through the entire section. Now I'm just using my fingers to make some rough parts, just grabbing some sections here. I'm taking a smaller fine tooth comb to comb through it just to grab the ends nice and taut. And I'm gonna take my shears and just dust off my ends. This is not a true trim, this is truly a dusting. I'm not a professional at all. I know I'm not getting all of my damage off. I'm just taking a little bit of the scraggly ends off, and that's why I'm calling this a dusting. But I do believe that this is still good for my whole braiding process because of the fact that we still want to do some maintenance, make sure that we don't have any broken or split ends that could possibly tangle and cause more breakage while I'm in this protective style. You can see as I go along that some of my sections are not even. Doesn't matter. I'm not even going in a straight line across. So I just kind of group the sections off and then just do my best to trim off the ends. Some sections I'm trimming more off the ends, some I'm trimming less, but ultimately I'm just trying to take the end damage off. Another thing I want to point out is that I do plan to blow dry my hair in preparation for my next style. But I'm choosing to dust my ends now instead of waiting until my blow dry, because honestly, there's a lot more manipulation that I'm going to do to my hair before I get to the blowout. So to me, it's more beneficial to dust these ends off now, early in my process. That way, when I go through my wash day, I'm not ripping these ends or ripping across these ends during the detangling process of my wash. And then I'm also not ripping across them when I go to blow dry it either. After I make my way to the middle of my head, I just start from the other side of the section and do the same process with just pulling off parts that I've finger parted, and then just pulling it taut in order to grab the ends and clip them off. So finally, getting back to that spray bottle, I'm gonna go ahead and mist this section. Now that I've fully dusted this entire section off, I'm just pulling off pieces and kind of going through it to spray my conditioner mix. And I'm focusing on the roots, of course, because that's where the majority of the gel was put when I did the braids. So I want to use this conditioner mix to create some slip so that I can make sure that I get all of that gel out of my hair, any buildup is released. And then I spray some on my ends too, just to make it easy to comb through. After I comb through the entire section, this is just to make sure I have all of that conditioner distributed, and I'm doing a final comb through to release any buildup that I can. I'm gonna go ahead and braid this section up so that I can move on to the other sections of my hair. Another quick tip, whenever I'm trying to get my sections out of the way, I usually braid down some, but when I get to the ends, I always twist. That just makes it easier for me to unravel this section when it's time to take it down. So I completed my dusting all over my head. You can see that I pretty much still have the same parts from the braids. And I'm just going to do a final inspection here of my ends. I see that this section still has a little bit of scraggling on it, so I just go ahead and clip that off. I mean, pretty much. But when you look at all of the ends, you can see that they're a little bit more juicy. The curl is tighter on the end, and it's not so much kind of hanging off of it. So I think the dusting did the job that I was trying to accomplish. I use the blueberry curls to shampoo, and I use the ORS to deep condition. This combination of blueberry and orange, it just didn't sit right. I don't think I'll ever use that again. The products are fine, but together the scent combination, it threw me off. I had my hair separated in 2 braids and wrapped in a t-shirt to get the excess water out. So now it's just damp. I'm pulling down one of my braids and focusing on one section at a time. And I'm spraying this section down with that Heat Repair Apogee. It's the Keratin Reconstructor. I'm combing through the section one more time before my blow dry. This is to distribute the product through and also to detangle the section before I break out my comb attachment. Of course, I want to reduce breakage. And now I just blow dry through that section nice and easy with my comb attachment. I do use high heat, but I'm using that apogee as a heat protectant as well in order to try to eliminate some damage from this process. And after that section is dry, I just twist it up to get it out of the way and move on to the rest of the sections. To prep for my next braid style, I'm using this glance formation braid hair, and I noticed that it said flame retardant and hot water set, but it didn't say anything about anti-itch or antimicrobial, so I am using the apple cider vinegar rinse in order to clean the hair. I'll insert a link to my previous video, but you can tell from this shot that this hair did not foam and bubble up. So it may not have that coating on it that's irritating like the other hair did, but this is my first time using this brand, so I figured better safe than sorry. The last thing I did to prep for my next style is I pre-parted my hair off. So I made the rows in the front and also in the back and just braided down each of the rows. This did take some time, but I'm doing smaller braids in my next style, so hopefully this does shave some time off of that style and it's not time wasted. Of course, like this video. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can get the alert when I post my next video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.